go.
Oh,
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Tribal Council. So, first of all, congrats on top 17 and your second tribe swap. So, Trace, how's this tribe swap shaken down for you?
It's been good. Yeah, so I mean everything's been good. It's kind of weird because tribes are like obviously important, but in this season it's like it's nice to be able to talk to new people, but the thing is that like with the war zone and stuff, the tribes don't really matter as much in terms of like tribe dynamics. It's more just about like making personal connections because that's what's going to save you in these. So like obviously it's great to like be able to talk to new people, and there's like people on my new tribe that I've been able to talk to for the first time this whole entire game. But for the most part, I think I'm more concerned with like personal relationships. So yeah.
Nice. Cullen, so you've been to the war zone quite a bit in the past couple rounds. So how are your personal connections and relationships being affected by being in the war zone instead of like on your tribe?
Well, it feels like I don't really get to spend too much time on my tribe at all because I suck at challenges and always come here. And some of the people, there's always some familiar faces at the war zone. Like, I don't mention any names, but there's some people I talk to fairly frequently at the war zone. But others, like, I've been in this game for like 20 days already, and I'm just now seeing people for the first time today. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, Thomas, how important is it to keep building those new relationships and taking these opportunities to meet new people in the war zone versus staying safe on your tribe?
well, it's more important to meet the new people because if you don't, that could definitely play a reason why you could get voted out. Like last round, like I almost got voted off because of my inactivity, and yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, so I know the past couple rounds we've been talking a lot about like a lot of people have felt that we're sort of in that awkward phase between sort of the early game and the more aggressive game. And the past couple rounds have been some pretty close votes with what seemed like some big blindsides. So Madison, what do you make of that moving in, especially coming into the second swap?
Yeah, I would honestly say like as of lately, as someone who's been to the war zone all but like once, um, I definitely think things are starting to heat up a little bit more. But I honestly think it's very situational depending on who is in the war zone, and the kind of dynamics based on that. Because like the more people, I don't know, because the war zone switches up so often, and because tribe dynamics are so unimportant, at least up to this point, like it's weird watching the dynamics of the votes play out because they always change because some people are more aggressive, or some people, once they get in the war zone with a certain person, they're like, oh, time for them to go. So it really just depends. But I definitely think we're going to start relatively soon getting a bit more aggressive, which is scary. The war zone is my homeland and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's like college, my home away from home.
Ian, as someone who hasn't been to the war zone as much, not for a while, how is this sort of like aggressive but not aggressive, sometimes aggressive? How is that playing out for you this round?
I'm not really sure. It's basically got, like Madison was saying, you got to play off who you're playing within the war zone. And from my understanding, like I came into it saying who I was going to watch their back, and I feel like I've watched their back, and I've done what I can do for who I said I was going to do it for. And what I want to keep in this game is somebody that will, return the favor, not if, but when the day comes that my name's getting called.
So, Cullen, how important is, Ian brought up a great point of loyalty. So obviously loyalty is a pretty important thing and really hard in a normal season of Survivor when you have solid, stable tribes. But how hard is it to find real loyalty in this game, and how important and is it as opposed to other seasons?
Well, it's kind of like it's when you're trying to test loyalty in this season for me, like some people I have never been to a war zone or tribal council with, so I'm not really sure like how loyal they'll be. But there's others that I've been to tribal with before, and I know they're trustworthy. So it's basically like a coin toss on like who do I trust more, like the person I've never interacted with or the person that I've worked with for a while.
Yeah. So like that brings up a good point. There are some people who have been obviously to the war zone a lot, and then other people who haven't been to the war zone quite as much. So as someone who has been to the sort of on opposite ends of that spectrum, at least here, we have Madison and Ian. So like from each of you, what are both of your opinions on like staying safe versus coming to the war zone to test those connections?
Okay, I guess I can speak to the other side of like, I guess like obviously I don't like being in the war zone, and it's very scary and it's very dangerous and it's not the best. Um, but at the same time, I feel like being in the war zone gives you a decent perspective on how the game is playing and like the dynamics of people and votes just in general, and like how people are playing at that point. And obviously that changes like throughout the game. So I feel like if I like had been to like even the one time that I didn't go to Warzone that I was in Oasis, like the way the Warzone changed from the round previous to the round after my Oasis round was super different because we were in a different point in the game. So I feel like if I wasn't in Warzone for a round or two or whatever, I feel like it would take me some time to catch up in terms of like where the dynamics were lying with the vote. So I feel like it's been beneficial in a way, but also I don't want to be in Warzone and it's scary.
Can I answer this question? I feel like I have something.
Yeah, go
Okay.
for it.
So as someone, I guess, who's maybe more middle ground in terms of like I've been a couple times and I've been safe a couple times, I think like what the people, and there's people who aren't at this war zone right now who have like not been to really any at all. And I think like what I'm learning the more that I come here is that like it is kind of testing relationships, and it's like kind of showing you people's true colors and like who you can and can't trust. And because like maybe it's not like a traditional Survivor season where like real alliances are forming, like big large alliances that like last into the merge, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the people who like really have not been here a lot like fare in terms of like creating like majority alliances, because I think it's going to be a different dynamic going forward. So like as someone who's been to both, like I see both sides of it, where like some people are kind of on cruise control right now because they're good at challenges and they're just chilling and they don't have to worry about voting people out. And then there's other people who are like in full game mode. So I think like there's obviously like good, and there's pros and cons to each side, but I think like we'll see quickly like when we merge, which will be like maybe somewhat soon. We're at final 17. Like it's going to be interesting to see people like interact with each other, especially if they haven't talked at all or since the beginning of the game or that kind of thing. So I think that's kind of what Madison was saying, but yeah.
I agree.
So, from my perspective of not having been to the war zone as often, I have gone though. I just want to throw that out there. I have been here a few times, but it has me scared to death after not being here for so long. So I'm terrified, and I think it gets more scary to avoid the war zone than to go to the war zone, because I don't know, it gives more reason for people to want you out as soon as you are vulnerable.
Yeah, so there are a lot of reasons to want someone out, so including like being a threat, obviously, in challenges. But like everyone's basically said, every war zone's different. So Thomas, tonight, what sort of things are you looking for in someone to vote out tonight?
I think I'm gonna keep that secret.
But not who, but like what sort of things are you looking for? Like, are you looking for trust, easier time to stay out of the war zone?
Kind of a mix of everything, because you don't want to be down in the war zone, but again, you don't want to lose someone you trust either to the war zone. So it's a little mix of everything.
So is this going to be an easy vote for you, or is it more of a complicated?
It's complicated for me, to be honest.
How about for everyone else? Is it an easy vote, or is it more of a challenging vote that you need to think about a little bit more?
I say this every
Complicated.
tribal Jeff, but a vote is never easy for me.
Well, I think another thing like about the Warzone is that it never, because everyone's so individual, it never comes like the decisions are always made in like the last hour or like last couple hours, which I think is like really stressful. But just kind of the nature of like what it's going to be, because like in a normal game, like you might talk with your alliance, but in this game, it's very much so like let's feel it out, and then people have whatever personal vendettas, or they're nervous about challenges, or they're nervous about their social skills or whatever, and then in the last hour it like all comes together. And I think that's like what's really stressful about the Warzone.
I want to like kind of add on to that in that like we like you notice, or at least for me, who's someone who's been in the Warzone a lot and has watched like a lot of different like dynamics, I guess, play out. Like very early on, there were a couple people that would get to Warzone and try to start bigger alliances, and those people are not here anymore. So like to watch that like kind of occur, it makes it even scarier because you don't know like what kind of bonds you can build and what like kinds of things are going to seem more threatening than others, and it makes me really nervy. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, so Ian, this seems like a very complicated vote, so I feel like anyone could use anything going in. So what is one thing that you would say to everyone as they go to vote tonight?
I would say you want to be surrounded by people that will come to you when you need them.
All right, so with that last little bit of advice, goodbye, Madison, and hello again, Madison. And
Sorry.
so now it's all good. If anybody has any last things to say before we get to the vote, you should do that. But I will count down from 10. You have until I reach 0 to either cast or change your vote. When I reach 0, all votes will be locked. So let's get right to it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'll go get the votes. And tonight you are in for a treat. You have not just one other host to keep you company, but two. So woo.
Woo!
This bitch is putting some white strips on. So Johnny, take it away.
Hi, Johnny.
Hi, Trace.
I
Miss you.
Ian, Madison,
Hi.
Colleen. I miss you too, Trace.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a graduate now, and now I can kind of attend these because I'm not busy getting stoned at my house instead of being
Literally me right now.
Yay, congrats.
You can watch me play Subway Surfers now.
Instead we're getting drunk, right, ladies?
Oh, tea.
Yeah.
I wish I could afford a drink.
I hate tribal council.
Oh my god, so do I.
Biggest mood.
You should just be like me and win 83% of your pre-merge challenges across the 6-year seasons, and then you
I
never
would like to, but y'all keep giving us hard challenges.
and then you never have to attend tribal council until the merge, where everybody slaughters you, so it's fine.
another org I mean, I had to go to 5 in a row, and it wasn't fun.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm not good at Tumblr Survivor.
But I made merge, so I'm happy.
Wait, I'm sorry, Johnny. You're talking about winning challenges. Can we throw back to Game Changer?
Game Changers is maybe the most like, and I wasn't even that like inactive per se, but like the most inactive I think I've ever been in like a main season. So that was my.
Yeah.
I like disagree. I just think that you were just bad. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, like the 3 days leading up to me voting out, all I did was log on and like make mistakes. So like, I guess like when you put it that way, but it's fine because
As your host.
Yes, of course.
I was just bad. I can attest.
Trace watched me look for the
I
like
played one of the
for 2 days with like the easiest clue ever.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my house in Italy. Oh, he's back.
All right, I have the votes. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so. All right, once the votes are read, the decision is final. Person voted out will be asked to leave the chat immediately. I will read the votes. First vote, Steven. Second vote, Stevie. Third vote, Stevie. Fourth vote, Stevie. That's 3 votes Stevie, 1 vote Steven, 4 votes left. Fifth vote, Stevie. And the 10th person voted out of Tumblr Survivor Kuwait, Stevie. Stevie, the Warzone has spoken, and it is time for you to go.
Bye,
Well,
Stevie.
despite all of the talk about a difficult tribal council, it seems like everyone was on the same page for this one. Whether that was an easy same page or a hard same page is yet to tell, but everyone was on the same page. So head on back to your camps. Your next challenge will be posted shortly. Good night, everyone.
Good night.